Hello everyone, this is Hellession. A few years ago, YouTube made a nearly universally hated decision to private the dislike count from all videos online. Ever since that was implemented, the only person who can look at the dislike count is the creator of the video by accessing the YouTube studio. Without hesitation, the YouTube community made an effort to preserve this feature that YouTube was messing with for really dumb reasons. At the end of 2021, the Return YouTube Dislike extension was released onto the various extension stores for various browsers. Ever since the dislike count went private, this became the most popular extension to estimate the like to dislike ratios on YouTube. However, over time, multiple controversial videos ended up having wildly incorrect estimations of the dislike count. Recently, some crazy accusations came out where the owner of the extension claims that YouTube is suppressing the amount of dislikes for some sort of drama protection because the numbers just don't line up. There's definitely something fishy going on, and this video will cover as much as possible about this extension, as well as what I think should be done instead. Let's start with how this extension works. How does the extension calculate its dislikes? The FAQ says that it's a combination of archived data from before the official YouTube dislike API shutdown and extrapolated extension user behavior. The archived data part is irrelevant, since we'll be talking about newer videos here, but that answer still leaves us with a lot of questions. Well, if you look into the GitHub FAQ, you'll find this formula. It's very simple. Some portion of the total viewers of a video uses this extension. The extension collects information on how many of its users liked or disliked a certain video. This data would then be used to calculate the amount of dislikes per any given like of the extension and multiply it by the total amount of likes. If there was 1 dislike per 4 likes, it would multiply the total like count by 0.25 to get an estimate of how many dislikes there are. While this sounds like a good solution, it's actually very biased. Think about this. Do you not think that the type of person who uses the Return YouTube Dislike extension is much more likely to dislike videos than the average viewer? The developer of this extension seems to know that, and admits to it, which is why this isn't even how the final dislike count is calculated. On the Discord server for the extension, the creator admits that some sort of weights are applied to better estimate the dislike count. So this isn't even the final formula. Why not just update it? Because as it stands now, we don't know the full extent of how this false extension does its calculations. We know that there is some weighting applied that makes the ratio look more positive to try to better estimate and account for the bias within the extension sample. But this means it's just a bunch of guesswork, this time with some arbitrary weighting applied, instead of an initial biased sample. Now, to be fair, that's the point. This extension can never truly be accurate because of YouTube, and their goal is to be as close as possible to the truth by whatever means necessary. Many idiots online, without knowing this, just run off with the estimates though, assuming they are remotely accurate, which brings a lot of misinformation. As a consequence, many YouTubers, especially commentary ones, started speaking out against this extension. The most vocal opposing YouTuber I know of is Nicholas Diorio, who has posted multiple stats from videos wildly disputing the numbers. In late 2023, Dream posted a response to various allegations made against him, and the Return YouTube Dislike extension claimed the video reached 175,000 dislikes. Nick acquired a screenshot of that video's dislike count and showed that it was at 32,000 dislikes, way less than the extension claimed. This was posted in the Discord server for this extension, and the owner responded by saying that just from the extension users alone, the video received 36,000 dislikes. So what's going on? Well, we can't say much about this right now, because Nick's screenshot is likely too old right now, and was too fresh at the time to know the true dislike count nowadays. That screenshot was posted 1 day after the video was released, and is now almost 9 months old. I don't think it's unreasonable to assume that the dislike count, as reported by the YouTube studio, is now wildly different from when it was 1 day after release. Okay, but the most recent example of this is much crazier. Most people are aware that MrBeast has been embroiled in multiple controversies recently. He just so happened to release a new video a few days ago, and our favorite extension is once again reporting wild numbers. Almost 2 million dislikes at a 66% like ratio. This was picked up and parroted by users blindly believing the extension, and then MrBeast's crew and friends posted the numbers from YouTube Studio, showing that the video had just 20,000 dislikes at the time. Massive discrepancy. This was once again shown to the extension developer, and he disputed those numbers by saying that just the extension users alone had already disliked the video 60,000 times. Never mind the ratios, the raw numbers seem to be completely off. If the extension claims 60,000 dislikes just by its own users, then the video has to have a minimum of 60,000 dislikes. But the studio claims 3 times less. What the fuck is going on? In my opinion, there are 4 possibilities. Possibility number 1, the extension has a bug, inaccuracy, or serious botting issues. By the way, I'm not talking about that ratio from before, because this has nothing to do with ratios anymore. The issue might stem from how the extension counts how many of its own users pressed dislike. For example, there could be a bug where just pressing the dislike button 3 times would register 3 unique dislikes, even though 1 or 2 of those clicks actually removed the dislike. This is a very simplistic example of a bug, and I don't think such a dumb bug exists in the extension, but it's just one example. It could really be anything. It should also be noted that just like YouTube, this extension has to have measures against bots or other spam. This is where the extension developer rebutted by saying that 50,000 of the users that pressed dislike on that MrBeast video were using this extension for over 6 months. In fact, they showed stats comparing old extension users to the new ones, showing that the newer, much more likely to be botted users, were disliking the video a lot less than the new users. Does that mean that this data is genuine? We can't know for sure. However, what we do know is that the developer behind the extension did add some measures against spam and bots. Possibility number 2, the extension developer is lying. This possibility doesn't seem to make a lot of sense though. Why would you lie about some big YouTuber's dislike count in your extension? Do you get off from people thinking videos are less liked than they are? Does your extension become more popular from seeding doubt? I don't get it. However, one important factor is that the only person who has ever accessed or posted the raw numbers from the extension-only users is the developer themselves. They are the only source for that 60,000 dislikes number. So is it possible? Maybe, but I don't get why you'd lie about this. Possibility number 3. YouTube has some sort of bug or glitch. This one seems unlikely as well, because it wouldn't make a lot of sense either. The technology behind counting those dislikes on YouTube's side shouldn't be very complicated on the surface. You check the viewers that rated or watched the video, check the amount of users that currently have the dislike pressed, apply some anti-spam or anti-bot measures to make sure the users are legitimate, and then count the users that pass a test. Anything is possible, but I just don't think YouTube is the type to make a bug like this. One other possibility is that YouTube's just delaying the data to process it against spam or bots. This is something I've seen before on YouTube Studio, but I'm not a YouTuber, I've never had a big audience, so this is just another point of speculation. Possibility number 4. YouTube is removing dislikes or lowering the dislike count. This one's a full-on conspiracy. Even though there's no evidence or pattern to claim something like this, it ended up being the most popular explanation for the developer and users of the extension. The developer speculates that it's not the extension that is off, but YouTube themselves. That there's some sort of drama protection or anti-mass dislikes algorithms that are activated to reduce the number of dislikes. Only the creators can see the true number nowadays, so it'd be a lot easier for YouTube to secretly alter the number of dislikes that shows up in the studio. Is YouTube trying to protect the big creators? Are they trying to make sure their feelings don't get hurt? All of this is just pure speculation. We have no consistent data on this. If this is true, it's a fucking crazy find. If anything, we should compare more controversial videos and check how many dislikes the studio reports against what the raw dislike numbers on the extension are. Doing this enough times can help determine if a pattern exists or not. Asmongold tried to do this. His numbers were a bit inaccurate, but not terribly inaccurate like MrBeast or Dream. But it's just one creator that did this. There's also a potential 5th explanation, which is that MrBeast's YouTube Studio stats are faked. like the videos and screenshots they've provided are just faked. I don't think that's very likely, but even the creator of the extension doesn't believe any of these screenshots or videos are faked here. Despite that, this is still a popular possibility which many people cling onto. The belief in this possibility is stronger because of massive accusations that MrBeast and his crew are hiding comments that are negative on his most recent video. So, which of the 4 possibilities do you think has transpired? I think the first explanation is the most likely one. Nicholas Diorio would probably think it's either 1 or 2. In general, nearly every commentary channel has defended and glazed for MrBeast in previous dramas, which I doubt is going to change this time. Asmongold thinks the third explanation is most likely.
They pressed F12, edited the HTML page, and then recorded it? No, I don't think that they're lying. I think that what happened is that YouTube, for whatever reason, is not displaying the number accurately. I don't think that they lied. So YouTube is lying? YouTube is not lying. YouTube is just simply not displaying the information correctly.
And extension users, as well as some of the most vocal viewers, are thinking it's possibility 4. It's very important that this is explained somehow, because this discrepancy between YouTube's and extension's raw numbers makes the extension look extremely unreliable. Like, how are you supposed to believe this extension if YouTube completely contradicts the amount of dislikes a video has? Another important point is that this extension should show the raw numbers. Why is it that there is no information about the raw number of extension-only likes and dislikes, not just in the user interface, but in the fucking API? When I asked the creator why this information isn't shown, they said there was no reason. It just wasn't implemented. This extension is almost 3 years old, by the way. Just show us the raw numbers. Make it so that when you hover over the like bar, it shows a pop-up with the numbers included. Kind of like in this suggestion, or this years old pull request. I get that the developer might not have a lot of resources, time, or money to do this, but what I'm asking for isn't rocket science. It's not very difficult. Your extension attempts to bring back a popular feature, and because it's often inaccurate, it'd be very valuable for you to be honest and transparent with how it works and the numbers in the backend. Tell us how you apply the weightings to try and make more accurate ratio estimations. Make it so that the users can check how many extension users liked or disliked a video without having to bother or ask you for the data. There is room for improvement, and even though there'll still probably be thousands of dumbasses that'll keep taking the extension's stats as fact, the extension itself can improve its own presentation. Just please, add an option to show the raw like and dislike numbers. People have asked for this on the GitHub issue, on Discord, and some of the YouTubers, like XA, have asked for the same. Even though I have all these takes and opinions, I'm very curious to find out what other people think. Do you like this YouTube extension? Do you think its estimates are reliable? Do you trust them? Do you think this extension should be more transparent, and what do you think is the reason why the provided YouTube Studio and the raw dislike counts are so different? I hope you learned something or enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Bye!